Hey, babe.
Oh, hello.
How are you doing? Nice sweater.
It's cold in here.
It is cold. Yeah, because I have to keep it cold.
You're not doing anything.
No, but it's hot in this room. I get hot. That's why I have to keep it cold.
So what are you doing?
Well, I'm just yapping right now.
So you're
I'm
not
talking
gonna watch
about-
Look at Get Smarter?
Yeah, I'm gonna watch it Get
Because
Smarter.
I have a video for you.
You have a video for me?
Yes, I do.
What is it? No, they're not gonna want to watch this.
Okay. Yeah, it's so cool like this one. You don't think that's cool? Okay, or the trains one, but I saw that one already.
All right, we'll watch the beginning of it. We'll watch one type of bridge.
The Earth is pretty cool and all, but many of its most magnificent features make it tough for us to get around. When the topography is too wet, steep, treacherous, or prone to disaster, sometimes the only way forward is up. Our roadways and walkways and railways break free from the surface using bridges. A lot of the infrastructure we rely on day to day isn't necessarily picturesque. It's not that we can't build exquisite electrical transmission lines or stunning sanitary sewers. It's just that we rarely want to bear the cost. But bridges are different. To an enthusiast of constructed works, many are downright breathtaking. There are so many ways to cross a gap, all kindred in function but contrary in form. And the typical way that engineers classify and name them is in how each design manages the incredible forces involved. Like everything in engineering, terminology and categories vary. As Alfred Korzybski said, the map is not the territory. But trying to list them all is at least a chance to learn some new words and see some cool bridges. And honestly, I can hardly think of anything more worthwhile than that. I'm Grady, and this is Practical Engineering.
Bald.
One of the simplest structural crossings is the beam bridge. Just a horizontal member across two supports. That member can take a variety of forms, including a rolled steel beam, sometimes called a stringer, or a larger steel member fabricated from plates, often called a plate girder. Most modern bridges built as overpasses for grade separation between traffic are beam bridges that use concrete girders. And instead of a group of individual beams, many
There will be a test after this. Fucking study up. Okay?
bridges use box girders, which are essentially closed structural tubes that use material more efficiently, but can be more complicated to construct. Beam bridges usually can't span great distances because the girders required would be too large.
Okay, at the end of this video, you have to tell me what your favorite type of bridge is. Right now, all we know is beam, so your answer should only be beam.
Certain distance, the beams become so heavy they can hardly support their own weight, let alone the roadway and traffic on top. One way around the challenge of a structural member's self-weight is to use a truss instead of a girder. A truss is an assembly of smaller elements that creates a rigid and
Liz
lightweight
Truss,
structure.
don't like her.
Unlike a beam, the members of a truss don't typically experience bending forces. The connections usually aren't actual hinges that permit free rotation, but they are close enough. So all the load is axial along their length in compression or tension. That simplifies the design process because it's easier to predict the forces within each structural member. The weight reduction allows trusses to span greater distances than solid beams, and there are a wide variety of arrangements, many with the...
I think the camelback truss bridge is the GOAT bridge design. I'll say it. Or it's like El Clasico. You know what I'm saying? The camelback truss is like, it's just fire. You just know you're bridge maxing. Like if I'm driving on a bridge, I want it to look like that. I want it to be like ramping up. Or maybe it can also be the how, I guess. But I want it to ramp up and then be flat. Or the Pennsylvania. The Pennsylvania is actually kind of, what is the difference between Pennsylvania and the camelback?
Their own specific names. In general, a through truss puts the deck on the bottom level, and a deck truss puts it on top, hiding the structural members below the road. A particularly photogenic type of truss is a lenticular truss bridge, named because they resemble lenses,
Yeah, that's right.
which themselves are named because they resemble lentils. A Bailey bridge is a kind of temporary truss bridge that's
Yuck.
designed to be portable and easy to assemble. They were designed during World War II, but Bailey bridges are still used today as temporary crossings when a bridge
Ugly
fails or
ah,
gets
dude.
closed
Ugly
for
ah.
construction. Most covered bridges are timber truss bridges. Since wood is more susceptible to damage from exposure to the elements, the roof and siding are placed to keep the structural elements trustworthy. A trestle bridge is superficially similar to a truss, a framework of smaller members. Trestle bridges don't have long spans, but rather a continuous series of short spans with frequent supports, which are individually called trestles. But sometimes the whole bridge is just called a trestle, so like many other...
This is the goat bridge if you're like in the Old West and there's a train coming and you have to like run away, but you don't want to fall off the side. I mean, that's fucking cinema. Okay?
Other instances of structural terminology, it can get a little confusing. The next bridge type uses a structural feature that's been a favorite of builders for millennia, the arch. Instead of beams loaded perpendicularly or trusses that experience both compressive and tensile forces.
This is the goat bridge if you're like a troll and you want to hide somewhere and then like attack people at night or like when they try to cross. This is the goat bridge for being a troll.
Arch bridges use a curved element to transfer the bridge's weight to supports using compression forces alone. Many of the oldest bridges used arches because it was the only way to span a gap with the materials available at the time, stone and mortar. Even now, with the convenience of modern steel and concrete, arches are a popular choice for bridges. They make efficient use of materials but can be challenging to construct because the arch can't provide its support until it's complete. Temporary supports are often required during construction until the arch is connected at its apex from both sides.
Jeez.
In stone arches, the topmost stone is key to keeping the whole thing standing, and of course, it's called the keystone. When the arch is below the roadway, we call it a deck arch bridge.
Cool.
Vertical supports transfer the load of the deck onto the arch. The area between the deck and arch has a great name, the spandrel. Open spandrel bridges use columns to transfer loads, and closed spandrel bridges use
Holy shit, that's a nice spandrel. That is a fucking sick-ass open spandrel bridge. I'm a big fan of open spandrel because it gives you more room, you know? And it looks more aesthetic. If this is all filled in, that's...
continuous walls. If part of the arch extends above the roadway with the deck suspended below, it's called a through arch bridge. A moon bridge is a kind of exaggerated arch bridge, usually
goofy. Goofy, I'm sorry, that's European shit. We don't want fucking moon bridges here. Fucking moon brained if you think that's cool. Goofy, you gotta walk all the way up it? No, this is Japan? This is weeb shit. This is weeb shit then, I'm sorry. This is just not, it's goofy.
reserved for pedestrians over narrow canals where there's not enough room for long approaches. They're steep, so sometimes you have to use steps or ladders to get to the top and back down. One
Good
result
idea.
of compressing an arch is that it creates horizontal forces called thrusts. Arch bridges usually need strong abutments at either side to push against that can withstand.
It's China? We're losing a trade war to moon bridges? We have a leader that can't outthink moon bridges? It's over, dude. Every single good they're shipping has to go up and down this huge fucking bridge?
Over narrow canal steps or ladders to get to the top and back down. One result of compressing an arch is that it creates horizontal forces called thrusts. Arch bridges usually need strong abutments at either side to push against that can withstand the extra.
Get ready to walk over a moon bridge, buddy. Pretty soon we're gonna have fucking moon bridges to our factory jobs making fucking t-shirts that say China #1 on them. At the rate we're fucking going.
Horizontal loads. Alternatively, a tied arch bridge uses a cord to connect both sides of the arch like a bowstring so it can resist the thrust forces. That means a tied arch bridge is structurally more of a truss than an arch. And that provides a lot of opportunities.
I hate this. I hate this. If you're gonna do an arch on the bridge, it has to do the whole thing. It's ugly. You can't have it. This is stupid. I don't care if it works. Pick one. You have to commit, dude. By the way, where's the border here? What, I get into an accident on the fucking thing and I'm driving off the side? Stupid.
For creativity. For just one example, a network arch bridge uses the tied arch design plus crisscross suspension cables to support the deck. To tell an arch from a tied arch by eye, it's usually enough to look at the supports. If the end of each arch sits atop a spindly pier or some other structure that seems insubstantial against horizontal forces, you could probably bet that they're tied together and it's not a true arch bridge. Similarly, a rigid frame bridge integrates the superstructure and substructure, in other words the deck, supports, and everything else, into a single unit. They don't have to be arched, but many are. Another way to increase the span of a beam bridge is to move the supports so that sections of the deck balance on their center instead of being supported at each end. A cantilever bridge uses beams or trusses that project horizontally, balancing most.
I'm going to say it. I feel like cantilever bridges are doing too much. It's try hard. It feels over-engineered. Do you know what I'm saying? It feels like the guy had a friend who worked at a steel factory and wanted to drum the price. He wanted to overspend. I just don't feel like it's like efficient.
Most of the structure's weight above the supports rather than in the center of the span.
Like every time I'm on a cantilever bridge, I'm thinking, can I leave her? Her being the bridge. Okay. I'm trying to get the fuck off because it's just not a fun time. It's too ugly to look at.
This is such an effective technique that the Forth Bridge, crossing the Firth of Forth in Scotland, took away the title of the longest span in the world from the Brooklyn Bridge in 1890 and held the record for decades. This famous photograph demonstrates the principle of that bridge perfectly. The two central piers bear the compression loads from the bridge, and the outermost supports are anchors to provide the balancing force for each arm. This way, you can suspend a load in the middle. The longest bridges take advantage of steel's ability to withstand incredible tension forces using cable supports. Cable-stayed bridges support the deck from above through cables attached to tall towers or spars. The cables, also called stays, form a fan pattern, giving this type of bridge its unique appearance.
That's a fire bridge.
Depending on the span, cable-stayed bridges can have one central tower or more. Their simplicity allows for a wide variety of configurations, giving rise to some.
This is the GOAT bridge if you are Godzilla. And you're walking through a river and you want to like hear a snapping sound as you like mess the bridge up. It's the GOAT bridge for that moment.
Dramatic and often asymmetric shapes. For shorter spans, you can combine the benefits of a cable-stayed structure with girders to get an extra-dosed bridge. Imagine a concrete girder bridge that uses internal tendons to keep the concrete in compression. Then just pull those tendons out of the girder and attach them to a short tower. Rather than holding the deck up vertically like a cable-stayed bridge, they're acting more horizontally to hold the girders in compression, giving them the stiffness needed to support the deck. It's a relatively new idea compared to most of the other designs I've listed, but there are quite a few cool examples of extra-dose bridges across the globe.
So I'm no engineer, but basically what they're saying is that they have like Captain America holding the helicopter, but they've created a physical version of that inside the pillar, and it keeps.
Where a cable-stayed bridge attaches the deck directly to each tower, a suspension bridge uses cables or chains to dangle the deck below. In a simple suspension.
Okay, wait. This is like a GOAT bridge right here. I mean, look at this fucking bridge. This bridge is cinema. God, when you cross this bridge into a fucking thriving metropolis, you know you're in a center of commerce. They don't make bridges like this in backwaters.
Bridge uses cables or chains to dangle the deck below. In a simple suspension bridge, the cables follow the curve of the deck. This is your classic rope bridge. They're not very stiff or strong, so simple suspension bridges are usually only for pedestrians. A stressed ribbon bridge takes the concept a step further by integrating the cables into the deck.
I'm stressed.
The cables pull the deck
into
compression, providing stiffness and stability so it doesn't sway and bounce.
This is a fucking theme park ride. This is like It's a Small World or something. This is dips for the kids. This is not a serious place of business.
This design is also primarily used for smaller pedestrian bridges because it can't span long distances and the deck sags in the middle. Then you have the suspended deck bridge, the design we most associate with the category with the longest spans in the world. Massive main cables or chains dangle the road deck below with vertical hangers. Suspension bridges are iconic structures because of their enormous spans and slender, graceful appearance. Towers on either side prop up
That's
the main
such a
cables like
fucking bridge, dude. Oh, that's just gorgeous. That's human ingenuity at its finest. That is when he went across a whole fucking lot of water. What a great bridge, dude. Yeah, that's a bridge Magneto could go to town on.
slender, graceful appearance. Towers on either side prop up the main cables like broomsticks in a blanket fort. Most of the bridge's weight is transferred into the foundation through these towers. The rest is transferred into the bridge's abutments through immense anchorages, keeping the cables from pulling out of the ground. Alternatively, self-anchored suspension bridges connect the main cables to the deck on either side, compressing it to resist the tension forces. Because they're so slender and lightweight, most suspension bridges require stiffening with girders or trusses along the deck to reduce movement from wind.
Oh,
and
there's some
traffic
stiffening
loads.
going on,
These
all right.
bridges
When you see a
are
bridge this
expensive
fucking
to
hot.
build and maintain, so they're really only used when no other structure will suffice. But you can hardly look at a suspended deck bridge without being
Yeah, that's what I'm
impressed.
saying.
Bridges have to support the vehicles and people that cross over the deck, but they often have to accommodate boats and ships passing underneath as well. If it's not feasible to build a bridge and its approaches high enough, another option is just to have it get out of the way when a ship needs to pass. Movable
Is this the UK? I'm calling this lazy awe. I'm calling this lazy awe. Build it a little higher, UK. Come on, we gotta lift and lower this every fucking 10 minutes for a boat when you could just build it higher? Nah, you're not getting a pass from me. You're not getting a pass from me.
Another option is just to have it get out of the way when a ship needs to pass. Movable bridges come in all shapes and sizes. A lot of people call them drawbridges after their medieval brethren over castle moats. A bascule bridge is hinged so the deck can rotate upward. A swing bridge rotates horizontally so a ship can pass
That's
on either
crazy.
side. A vertical lift bridge raises the
Oh,
entire
come
deck
on.
upward, keeping it horizontal like a table. A transport bridge
Come on.
just has a
What
small
are we
length of
doing
deck
here?
that's shuttled back and forth across
What are
the
we
river.
doing here?
That's just a few, and in fact, every movable bridge is unique. and
I'm sorry.
customized
Wait,
for a-
this is. What is this? You can't just fucking make a bridge here and then. This is a people mover. That can't be efficient, bro. It's a one cart train that goes back. It's a gondola. No, that's just too much effort. Hey, you know what's a bridge? If you have a catapult on one side and you fling everybody over. That's called a catapult bridge. What are you talking about? That's not. Come on. We're getting goofy.
That's just a few, and in fact, every movable bridge is unique and customized for a specific location, so there are some truly interesting structures if you keep an eye out.
What the
On
hell?
the other hand, sometimes there's no need for ship passage or a lot of space below, and in that case, you can just float the bridge right.
Okay, hear me out. You make the bridge as low to the ground as possible, and then you build a water ramp, and the ships float over. A huge fucking ramp right here. The ship goes, and they blare the horn. They get fucking fat air. A tunnel? No, I'm not. What the fuck I'm not saying a tunnel, am I? I'm saying a ramp. I'm saying a fucking ramp. The boat should be. I should be able to look up and see the bottom of the boat flying over me.
Right on the water.
One man. No, you guys are thinking. Oh, you guys are thinking like this is underwater, and the boat sails over. No. That's a tunnel. What I'm talking about is you build a ramp out of the water, right here, okay? And then the boat hits the ramp at high speeds, sails over, X Games style, and they have to sound the horn in the air, and they let kaboosh.
Or a lot of space below, and in that case, you can just float the bridge right on the water. Floating bridges use buoyant supports, eliminating the need for a foundation. These are used in military applications, but there are permanent examples too. Many use hollow concrete structures as pontoons, with pumps inside to make sure they don't fill up with water and sink. And actually, a lot of bridges take advantage of buoyancy in their design, even if it's not the main source of support. A design like this presents a lot of interesting engineering challenges, so there aren't too many of them. Similarly, the pedestrian bridge at Fort de
Whoa!
Rovera in the Netherlands, probably pronounced that wrong, has its deck below the water, giving it the nickname of the Moses Bridge. If space or funding
That
is
is a
really
cool
tight,
bridge.
one option to span a small stream is a low water crossing. Unlike bridges built above the typical flood level, low water crossings are designed to be submerged when water levels rise.
Okay,
They're
why?
most common in areas prone to flash floods, where runoff in streams rises and falls quickly. Ideally, a crossing would be inaccessible only a few times per year during heavy rainstorms. However, low water crossings have some disadvantages. For one, they can block the passage of fish, just like a dam. And then there's safety. A significant proportion of flood-related fatalities occur when someone tries to drive a car or truck through water overtopping a roadway. Water's heavy. It takes only a small but swift flow to push a vehicle down into a river or creek, which means at least some of the resources saved by avoiding the cost of a higher bridge
Yeah, it
are
seems
often
suck.
spent to erect barricades during storms, install
It's like a bridge. You know, bridge is mankind's attempt to dominate water. If a bridge is not good when water is heavy, then it's a bridge for fools. Okay? Then we've given up.
automatic flood warning systems and run advertisement campaigns encouraging motorists never to drive through water overtopping a roadway. You may have heard the term viaduct before. It's
Ooh,
not
that's-
so much a specific
Harry Potter ass bridge, bro. Type of bridge you're on the way to Hogwarts. Holy. That is a cinematic bridge.
type of bridge, but really about the length. Bridges that span a wide valley need multiple intermediate supports. So a viaduct is really just a long bridge with multiple spans that are mostly above land. There's really not a lot of agreement on what is one and what isn't. Some are singular and
is that a real
impressive
bridge?
structures, but
Damn, that's a cool bridge.
is
Wait,
one and what isn't. Some
that's a fucking cool bridge. Where is this bridge? This is in France? Viva la France! That's a beautiful bridge. Oh, this is at the bottom. I didn't even see. It's in France. You're right. Put a fucking nuclear power plant right here and I'm in heaven, dude. This is great. This is the best part of France. Look at this beautiful little village.
are singular and impressive
What a
structures.
gorgeous
But many modern
bridge.
cities have viaducts that are, although equally amazing from an engineering standpoint, a little less beautiful. So you're more likely to hear them called elevated expressways. And that gets to the heart of a topic
Now
like
this is beauty. This is fucking beauty. Mwah! Magnifique. I'm sorry, France. I'm sorry, but like, come on. This, I thought I liked it, but now I look at it again, it's kind of yuck. I look at this, gorgeous. The peak of human ingenuity. I look around, I don't see a single gas station. I don't see a single McDonald's. I don't see a single fucking parking lot. I don't see, I see so few lanes. I look over here. Oh my God. Yes. Yes.
To hear them called
Dude, imagine being stuck right here for an hour 45 in the middle of the day. Sun beating down on your car, just fucking living in the fucking moment. Yes, dude.
elevated expressways. And that gets to the heart of a topic like this. Without listing every bridge, there's no true way to list every type of bridge. There's too much nuance, creativity, and mixing and matching designs. The Phyllis J. Tilley Bridge in Fort Worth, Texas combines an arch and stress ribbons. The Third Millennium Bridge in Spain uses a concrete tied arch with suspension cables holding up the deck,
Too
which
much.
is stiffened with box girders. The Yavuz Sultan Salim Bridge in
Nice
Turkey
bridge.
combines a cable
Nice
stayed
bridge,
and
Turkey.
suspension design. In some parts of India and Indonesia, living tree roots are used as simple suspension bridges over rivers. There are bridges for pipelines, bridges for water, bridges for animals, and I could go on. But that's part of the joy of paying attention.
Oh, yeah, the animal bridges are kind of hype.
Bridges for
Is that the boat ramp?
rivers. There are bridges for pipelines, bridges
This is not really the boat ramp that I wanted. You know what? If you're going to do it like this, make it glass bottom. Okay? So when you're driving under, you can look up and see the fucking boat. Like, that'd be sick as fuck. That'd be sick as fuck, dude.
for water, bridges for
And then the animal bridges are cool. I don't know if you guys have seen these, but it stops all the animals running into the way and dying. They can cross over. It's fucking awesome. It's like a lot of animals live because of these, and they look cool. So it's like in The Sims when you place an item that has a beauty value and everyone's lives are improved. There's no mathematical reason for it, but our beauty score goes up.
animals, and I could go on. But that's part of the joy of paying attention to bridges. Once you
It's a spawn camp for predators. Dude, the wolves just setting up camp right here, fat as fuck. Just locking down the choke point.
and I could go on. But that's part of the joy of paying attention to bridges. Once you understand the basics, you can start to puzzle out the more interesting details. Eventually, you'll see the Akashi Kaikyo bridge on a calendar in your accountant's office and let him know it's a twin-hinged, 3-span continuous, stiffened truss girder suspension bridge with a double tower system. Or maybe that's just me. We care a lot about bridges.
Giving your accountant the ick. I think this is an ad. Ari, thank you for the video. Kick off Get Smarter Saturdays. That was fucking incredible. I actually really enjoyed that.